Wonderful. So hello again, everyone. My name is Svea Becker and I'm from the SAP Community team. And here with me today, we have Stephan Schluchter. Actually, the previous presenter for today was Thomas, but Stefan is in part of Thomas Vollmering's team, and he will do the presentation today. Hi, Stefan.
Hi, Svea.
So Stefan is the product manager for SAP Intelligent BPM, and he's working more than 10 years in the area of BPM. So currently he's focusing on enabling customers and partners to use the product. And maybe you know Stefan because he's also a regular speaker at Sapphire, SAP TechEd, and also other conferences. So I'm really happy that you're here stepping in for Thomas today, Stefan. Thanks very much, and I hand over to you. The stage is yours.
Thanks so much, Svea. Thank you a lot for the nice introduction and warm welcome and hello to everybody taking the time to find out more about SAP Intelligent Business Process Management and how you could really master your business processes with SAP Cloud Platform. So today, of course, there will be information about the product itself. I will also show you some of the items which are currently in development. Therefore, also we have had a disclaimer in front of, but for and foremost, I would like to talk a little bit about the Intelligent Enterprise, also how SAP Cloud Platform and in particular SAP Intelligent Business Process Management within Cloud Platform is relating to that. Then I also have a demo for you where I would like to show you how the different services which we have which you are covering under the solution Intelligent Business Process Management are actually working together and providing you value. I have some custom examples with me and then also some outlook what's coming next and a short summary with the main items you should take from this call today. So for most, of course, when we're talking about the Intelligent Enterprise is on the one hand side, we need to be able to really manage and govern our operations. So our business processes running in different kind of applications, of course, in SAP applications, also non-SAP applications, but also I think you will get more value if you could also include, for example, the experience data, the experience information. So how, for example, are end users dealing with certain processes in your company? How is their feedback on your products, for example? Or what can you actually really see based on the feedback where you probably need to improve. And this might also have an impact on your business processes at the end. Of course, we need to combine these two worlds, if you will, operations on the one hand side, experience on the other hand, also have several technologies supporting this and really building a kind of intelligent enterprise with an intelligent business platform in the center, where one integral part is absolutely SAP Cloud Platform. If we take a look on the different areas which are covering here in the intelligence piece, of course, we have applications to do more deep dive analytics, predictions, for example, collaborative planning, and so on. Of course, this whole area of database and data management, how you can really govern your data, how you can connect different data streams, and so on. But today we would like to focus more on the right-hand side of the house, if you will, on the one hand side on intelligent technologies, like, for example, artificial intelligence, intelligent RPA, robotic process automation. But for and foremost, we will take a look on the section of application development and integration. So there you can also see a listed Intelligent BPM, which would be the main topic of today's presentation. When we now go one step deeper and take a look on the different kind of solutions which we currently find within SAP Cloud Platform, there are, of course, different solutions to serve different kind of needs and also to provide different kind of value to you as a customer. So on the one hand side, for example, the whole topic of user experience and digital workplace is becoming more and more important. Just imagine or take a look how you are used to get access to software, interact with your apps, for example, on your device. I mean, the whole notion about user experience, how you deal with software, how you also deal with business processes at the end as an end user has dramatically changed. And of course, I will also show you today how we with SAP are supporting you here with different kind of technologies that you can also improve, let's say, the business process experience for your end user there. Talking about integration, this has been an important topic and of course will still be an important topic. Of course, you have out-of-the-box integrations within SAP systems, but of course you have also other systems, maybe on-premise or in the cloud, third-party applications which you would like to integrate into your end-to-end business process chain, and therefore we are also providing different kind of technologies under the solution of the integration suite itself. And then, of course, one important topic, I mentioned it, and that's also the topic for today, the business processes within the company. So really how you start from, let's say, the an incoming order to the production of a material at the end, and then delivering the product to your customer, and then also doing invoicing and so on and so forth. This could be one example, of course, but when you take a look in your company, you will find business processes more or less everywhere. And this is also what we see at customers. Sometimes they are not even aware that they are working in a business process, but if we take a closer look, it's most often a business process. And today I would like to show you how you can manage these business processes, how you can improve them, and also come to a state-of-the-art user experience for your end users here. SAP Intelligent Business Process Management. So a family of services, a solution which we have just recently launched at SAP Tech at Las Vegas end of September this year. And what probably, where are we coming from? How did we come to this launch of the Intelligent BPM suite, if you will? Of course, the notion of business processes, also the creation of workflows, is not something new, which we at SAP are dealing with, but of course also you as a customer are dealing with this. Actually, we started this journey back in 1996. Where first and foremost we launched SAP Business Workflow as part of our free, and then later on also part of Business Suite, to enable you to, for example, enhance different kind of business processes within the suite, or for example, also add some kind of new workflows. Think of approval workflows, for example, which you were able then to manage with the help of business workflow. Of course, this whole topic also evolved, and then also requests are coming in. Dear SAP, it's great that now I can enhance processes which are running within my SAP system, but of course I also have other systems. Probably I also have other SAP systems or non-SAP systems where I also would like to orchestrate processes from the start to the end. And in this time frame, so in the 2004 area until 2011, we actually launched SAP Business Process Management, later on also as part of SAP Process Orchestration, to enable you to orchestrate processes across different systems. Could be SAP systems, but also, of course, non-SAP systems. Also, the technology or the environment which you were used to in the business suite, of course, also involved then moving to SAP S/4HANA. Also there, we enhance the capabilities and enrich the capabilities of the workflow tooling itself, for example, with the flexible workflow application in there. 2017, major milestone for us, because this was our first step also into cloud, very broad BPM, business process management capabilities into the cloud with more or less 2 services. On the one hand side, we have had their SAP Cloud Platform workflow to actually orchestrate business processes across different systems in the cloud. And on the other hand, SAP Cloud Platform business rules, where you are able to define certain policies which you probably have in your company, or which are coming from the outside world, for example, by legal, and where you really would like to implement certain decision management capabilities for your processes. But of course, very important to know here also, the creation of the business rules, this business logic logic is really independent of the application logic, which gives you the nice advantage. Whenever you need to change the business rule, you only need to touch the business rule and not the complete application. But coming back to the workflow service, which is one integral part of SAP Intelligent BPM as business rule service, of course, there it was our start in the cloud to enable you to create net new processes, for example, but also to do enhancement of already existing standard processes. And I think these are the two major use cases we see, also the orchestration of processes and also the enhancement of already existing standard processes. And I will come to this topic in a few minutes. So later or earlier this year in August, we released SAP Cloud Platform Process Visibility. As the name says, really a service where you gain visibility across your end-to-end processes running within SAP systems or also non-SAP systems, really getting an end-to-end view. And this was also for us more or less a trigger to provide here a combined solution under the umbrella of SAP Intelligent Business Process Management. So probably you would say now, you're dealing now for approximately more than 20 years with business processes. Isn't this topic now done? No, it's not. What we see currently also customer base, we have processes which are very complex. We see processes which are still very manual, so meaning probably not manual, let's do something hand by hand, but manual in that case that exchange of information is happening via email, for example, or that information is stored in Excel files. Decision makers are just doing these decisions, for example, in the Excel sheets and so on and so forth. So of course, this also leads to more errors in the process execution, but also to inefficiencies. I mean, the more you can automate, the more you can increase the level of automation, and the more, of course, the level of manual steps will be reduced, but also the errors will be reduced, and also you can become much more efficient with your business process implementation and execution at the end. When we take a look at the key trends and customer needs, what we see and also where we would like to support you with SAP Intelligent Business Process Management, I think we can more or less focus here on 4 areas. On the one hand side, in these ever-changing environments, talking about digital transformation as one buzzword here, of course, it's also interesting for you that you are able to change your business very flexible. Your business processes very flexible in a very agile way. So this means that you don't need to start long-lasting change management projects if you would like to adapt your process based on requirements coming in from a customer, for example, or other stakeholders. On the other hand, I mean, there are people within the company who know the processes, so the business process experts, for example. So, and of course, these people know how they would probably execute a process. So why not also empower them that they are able to really drive these changes in the processes, but also be able to, for example, come into a discussion with the IT department when needed to do some changes also underneath the applications. But the major goal is really here to empower the business people that they can flexibly react on changes in their business while doing the changes in their business processes more or less on their own without heavy involvement of the IT department, which are providing the right tool set and the right environment to do so. I mentioned it before, automation of processes, still a hot topic. If you want to save costs, if you want to improve your efficiency, if you want to reduce the amount of errors probably in your process, and of course, if you would like to reduce the amount of manual steps in your process itself. So here on the one hand side, we would like to automate but also digitize processes across the enterprise. So not only stuck within one department, with one business unit, but really enable you that you can really run your workflows, your processes in a factory, if you will. And then the fourth pillar is becoming more and more important. Yes, make your processes intelligent through this artificial intelligence technology, for example. So help really your users to make smarter decisions, because you can provide actually the needed information at the right point in time, and probably also not in, let's say, a traditional way, for example, an inbox or so, but really proactively interact with your end user and really guide them through the execution of the process, make them some proposals, what should be, for example, next best actions, and to really leverage the intelligent technologies which you will get with SAP Cloud Platform also in the execution of your business processes. So having said that, let me now introduce you to SAP Intelligent BPM Business Process Management for live processes. You can see here, this is a pie chart, but by no means this should be taken as a kind of a life cycle. So this doesn't mean you need to really start in a particular sequence here. It's really up to you which area of this pie chart you would like to digest, you would like to implement within your company. But nevertheless, as we need to start somewhere, I would like to start here with the area of intelligent automation. So as I said before, we have already delivered 2 years ago SAP Cloud Platform Workflow as a service to automate structured processes, to orchestrate processes across different kind of systems, but also to be able to enhance standard processes. In addition to that, earlier this year, also SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation was launched to really work on more, let's say, repetitive, unstructured tasks which you have also in your company. So think of areas where people are just sitting there filling out some forms, more or less acting like a robot. And these are more or less also use cases where you probably would use SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation and the included bots here, or create your bot on your own, really to free up your workers from these mundane tasks. On the other hand, I mean, it's not only workflows, it's not only the digital bots, it's also about business rules. So what I have said before is of course also true within SAP Intelligent BPM. With the help of the Cloud Platform Business Rule Service, you are able to automate decision, you are able to really abstract this business logic from the actual application logic. A very important thing is the user experience. On the one hand side, the digital experience, which you're covering, for example, with the inbox application. So one inbox to really get all the tasks from different kind of systems which you can execute on, of course, also within or on different devices. But on the other hand, when we take a look on the conversational user experience, also enhance this notion of digital experience with digital assistance here. So really giving also some guidance through the execution, and also have possibilities to go into an interaction with a chatbot, for example, to really solve particular issues or do some approvals, for example, during the execution of your business process. We have covered the automation part. We have covered now the experience part for the end user. But of course, it's also important to take a closer look on the performance of your business processes. And therefore, we are offering more or less two essential products here. On the one hand side, SAP Cloud Platform Process Visibility. So really a service where you get visibility from the starting point to the end point of your workflows, of your business processes. This could be workflows created with SAP Cloud Platform Workflow. There we are offering actually a kind of a plug and play mechanism, so that out of the box you get here your end-to-end process visibility. But of course, this service also works with other processes which you would like to include to really have an end-to-end view, an overview of the performance of your processes. In addition to that, we are offering SAP Process Mining by Celonis, really to do a kind of a deep dive into your business processes, a really detailed analysis at a certain point in time, and probably also use the information what you have gained here due to this deep dive analysis. Sometimes we call it also the MRI for your business processes. Really use this information to define on the one hand side, optimization opportunities for your business processes, but also probably define certain key performance indicators which you would then like to measure with the process visibility service. In addition to that, where we are currently working on, but nevertheless, I will also show you this in the demo today, is a process flexibility cockpit. So where the end user, actually the business user, would be able to configure process variants, configure process extensions without the involvement of the IT department, while the IT department is more or less providing this, let's say, pockets of flexibility, if you will, and also the needed content, which will be delivered, of course, by us, SAP, but also we plan to enhance this and also enable partners to do so, to create content for certain scenarios and also to provide content. This could be, for example, workflow templates. This could be certain business rules. This could be user interfaces. This could be also certain process visibility dashboards, for example. Also enable here partners to really build these contents and deliver this to our customers, really to make use of this out of the box. And then the last pillar here, process experiences. What we are currently also working on, and probably earlier next year we can also provide them more information, is really an integration with the Qualtrics, with the experience management solutions which we have in-house, so that you can, for example, use the sentiments based of your business process analysis or product analysis also in your business process management design at the end, so that you really have not only, let's say, the analytical operational data, but also the experience, and can really act and optimize your processes based on the feedback of the actual people who are dealing with the business processes itself. So having said this, now let's come to a more concrete example how Intelligent BPM as part of SAP Cloud Platform could be used. And in the demo, which I would like to show you, it's based on the hire to retire scenario. Of course, a really important scenario. If you think in each and every company, you will find this. But of course, there are different kind of areas within this scenario where probably improvements are necessary, where enhancements of the actual standard processes are necessary. And this is something which we would like to provide to you with the help of our services, with the workflow service business rule under the umbrella of SAP Intelligent BPM. So having said this, let me now switch to the demo. And what you see right now here, this would be the process flexibility cockpit. And there you can see there are different kind of tiles. So for example, on the left-hand side, we have certain process variants, which you could adapt and configure on your own, really empowering here the business user to make these enhancements. We have information regarding decisions, so the business rules which have been defined, information regarding teams and functions, so all the involved stakeholders in your processes, and some other areas which we will take a look during the course of the demo. But now let's take a look at the onboarding process variant. And what you can see here is a modeling environment, but it's not a completely free environment. So you cannot do everything because it's based on certain constraints. So at the end, you can enhance here this process with extensions, which have on the one hand side will be provided by us as SAP, but also then also by partners, where we say there are certain areas where you would like to enhance your process. And for these extensions, we are providing the right content. As you can see here, for example, we can insert here the visa validation in this onboarding process. But for, of course, we also would like to add here a data validation step or process in this whole scenario. And on the one hand side, the visa validation, we could have included here each and everywhere, but you will see the data validation. This can only happen at the start of the process. So, and this is what I meant before with the constraint-based modeler. So really end user will also here be guided so that only in certain areas these extension can be included in this variant of the onboarding process. As you can see, there are several areas. So data validation we have the hiring manager review, for example, welcome messages which will be sent out, and so on and so forth. And of course, afterwards, these changes have been done. This can be activated, and then the process will be live and running in the system. On the other hand, as I said before, besides the execution of the processes, it's also important to get some kind of visibility into your processes, and therefore we have the visibility service, what you can see here now, how a business user could, for example, define certain phases which should be observed, and also areas where certain key performance indicators could be defined, represented in different formats, and then really be provided to the person who is responsible for this onboarding process, for example. So once activated, we can now take a look at the actual dashboard. And of course, this is a dashboard which you probably also see in other areas, but here we are really focusing on the processes. In this case, on the onboarding process, we have here also different areas and phases where we can take a look on. We can also, of course, have certain filters. So for example, have here analytics, the new hirings based on the job title. And on the left-hand side, we can also see which of our current onboardings, I mean, these are the most important ones, which the currently running ones, are in a critical stage, are at risk, or of course are on track. And we are now interested in the ones which are at risk. So this means probably there could be a delay due to certain issues, probably some steps haven't been executed so far. We can really hear from the more or less bird's eye view, coming really down to the detail of a certain process instance which is currently executed in the system. So seeing here really the real-time data, and also take a look at the current process path, so what have been executed so far. So all the information, the required information for the ones who is responsible for the process, can be shown here within one single dashboard with the capability to really go into the details itself. Having said this, now let us take a look how you could actually enhance such an onboarding process with the pre-delivered content, which you will find, for example, then also in near future in the API Business Hub. So herefore, we are taking a look on the onboarding extensions at what we have here. Of course, the whole scenario. So let's take a look at the recruit new external hires. And you can see here in the collaboration diagram, which different kind of systems are included here. Of course, SuccessFactors systems, which is covering a very big portion of the whole end-to-end scenario. But as you can see, we have also the flexibility to do some kind of enhancements, for example, with the help of SAP Cloud Platform workflow. And this is where we'll go now and take a look into details of the onboarding process here. So we can see the onboarding process itself is more or less the same what we have seen in the first part of the demo. So we have also here the hiring manager review. We have this external onboarding welcome message, and so on and so forth. And now what we would like to do, we would like now to enhance this scenario. And therefore we'll take a look what kind of content is available there. And for example, we can add here extensions for the visa validation, which we have already used. We have seen this. Background check would be a good candidate. But in this case, we would like to do the extension of the onboarding process with the equipment provisioning. So a process here which automates the activities. You need to really provide the right equipment at the first day for the new employee, for the new hire. So, and what you can do here now is starting a recipe. So this means here you have a guided approach how you will actually get this extension into your own environment running on Cloud Platform. And then based on this, you can do a certain adaptation or changes if necessary. So for example, also a developer could take a closer look now here in the web IDE, take a look at the provided content. So here the equipment provisioning workflow, you can see here different steps. For example, in the center here, the determined equipment step. This is actually calling a rule service where the rule service is taking care based on certain criteria and is making a proposal which equipment would be more or less a kind of a best fit, and then later on the assigned body will then approve the new equipment, or probably also make some changes, add some stuff, remove some stuff, also based on the experience here. And of course, all this information, for example, from the body and so on, is coming from the HR system, in this case, the SuccessFactors system. So if needed, of course, here also then the developer would have the freedom to change this process and adapt this process. As you can see now, we have here now 2 new additions. On the one hand side, on the extensions, we have here the equipment provisioning process, and on the other hand, in the decisions, we have also now this determined equipment rule in there. Now let's take a rule, as I said. So we have made, or you are able here to maintain or to change this decision table based on your needs, so that you are able to really adapt also here such a kind of a business rule actually to your business requirements. So when we take a look now on our process variant for the onboarding process, we can see now here on the left hand side that we have now this new extension available, because we have included it via the recipe, which I have shown you before, into our environment. And now we can actually here in the process flexibility cockpit enhance our onboarding process, our standard process, with this equipment provisioning artifact. So now the process is enhanced, activated, and then actually it can be executed. And now let's take a look at the execution. And of course, we have, let's say the traditional inbox where you can get all the information, but also we are supporting here a digital assistant, SAP Copilot. Underneath is running SAP Conversational UI, and you will see here, for example, how you can get into a discussion with this bot. Of course, this can also be voice enabled, but here for this demo reasons, we have just used the text messaging, so to say. So we can see currently we have 5 tasks in our inbox. You can just prove this here on the left hand side. In my inbox application, we still have here 5 tasks, and we get first and foremost a kind of an overview. We can also drill down here into the information, and then probably this is also sufficient for us that we can actually approve, for example, this illness leave here. In addition to that, of course, now we only have 4 tasks in our inbox. Now let's take a look at the onboarding process and ask whether the equipment for our new hire, Alex, will really arrive on time. And as you can see here, unfortunately, the equipment is expected to be delayed by 4 days, which is quite unfortunate, because if we take a look at the onboarding itself, we will see that Alex Flowers is supposed to start on September 26th. So now we would have a delay. So this means the first few days for him probably would be kind of unproductive, because he does not have the required equipment. Now let's see what we can do to speed up a little bit this process. So we can see now that actually it's our task to approve now the equipment which has been pre-selected and also assigned here, and we can take a look here at the details, also change if this is necessary, and then just finally approve here in the My Inbox application this task. Of course, we could have also done this via the conversational UI, but I just would like to show you actually the details what we have here in the background. So by the way, if we now take a look and ask our digital assistants, will this now the equipment arrive in time? And now we can see the equipment is expected to arrive really on time by September 25th, which is great because 26th would be the first starting day. So what you have seen now in this demo is really the combination of different services under the umbrella of the solution SAP Intelligent Business Process Management, how you could really enhance a standard process, how a business user can enhance the standard process, but also what kind of options probably also developer would have to change the process, adapt the process based on the needs, and then finally how the execution would look like, also with the help of a digital assistant. now coming back to the presentation and some customer stories who have already used SAP Intelligent BPM. So for example, a customer based in Germany, but really acting worldwide and also expanding worldwide, Delivery Hero. And they have had the situation that they have new business cases coming in a very rapid mode, and also they need to provide the money, provide a budget for these new business cases. And before, of course, all these approvals have been done manually via emails and so on and so forth. So on the one hand side, they could not really have a kind of traceability of all these approval processes, but also it was quite inefficient. And with the help of the combination of workflow service, for example, the business rule service, so integral parts of SAP Intelligent BPM, they were really able to significantly improve this capital deployment workflow. So this means before they have approximately, it has been taken approximately 20 days to do the confirmation, the approval of this new funding of these business cases. And now they could really reduce this from 20 days down to just 2 days. And I think this is quite a significant improvement. Another company, Murphy Oil Corporation, based in the US, and they have had a challenge that on their oil wells, of course, they have certain operators, employees there. They also need to observe these oil wells, and also whenever there's any kind of issues, they also need to raise some alerts and then also ensure that, for example, the right technicians are there at the right point in time to fix the issue, and also to prevent bigger issues there. And with the help of SAP Intelligent BPM, they have created a new application, an operations platform for their employees there on the oil wells itself, with the help of business rule and workflow, to really govern all these activities and also ensure that the right people are there at the right point in time. And besides the increase of, I guess, 15% of productivity, they have also increased the security level itself for the workers. So as a summary, coming to the end also of my presentation, SAP Intelligent Business Process Management, we have started now. The services are available like business rules, like process visibility and the workflow service. We are working on further enhancements there. We have also delivered just recently an integration with intelligent robotic process automation, so that you are able also to orchestrate an end-to-end process, include their digital bots wherever necessary. We are working on enhancements in the area of business rules, process visibility, and of course, our next big thing is really to provide you this kind of flexibility cockpit, which I have shown you, with pre-delivered content, predefined content, which you could use really to enhance standard processes and really empower here also the business people to do so with really valuable content. So the benefits in a nutshell of SAP Intelligent Business Process Management, of course, you have seen really increased real-time flexibility on your business processes, on your live business processes, or the processes which are running in your system, which you are able to configure to flexibly adapt. On the other hand, of course, the whole notion of business process management is more or less about increasing the level and also the quality of process automation. This could be with workflows, this could be with digital bots, with business rules, you name it. For you, important is that all these services, these tools are working hand in hand, and that you can really leverage them where needed in your end-to-end business process. And of course, the third point here, improving the process experiences. On the one hand side, for the end user, making smarter decisions, guiding them through the execution of the business process, and also do some kind of recommendation activities so that they are not feeling alone or lost once they are in charge of the process and really need to do and make some decisions during the execution itself. So Intelligent business process management really here to improve your business process experiences with intelligent automation. You have seen the area of automation with the help of the workflow and the business tool service in the demo. You have seen how process intelligence, how you can get really end-to-end visibility, starting from overview in the dashboard, really digging down into details of the actual executed instance. And of course, you have also seen how we are leveraging digital assistant to really come up with a kind of a new, really state-of-the-art user experience. In our recent customer examples, you have seen we have increased the productivity. We have reduced the average approval time with the help of the implementation of the services of SAP Intelligent Business Process Management. If you would like to know more, then I can highly recommend you that you go in on the website sap.com/ibpm, and there you will find further information. As you can see it here. So of course, some smaller videos, if you would just like to review some stuff, some information regarding the service itself, the workflow service, for example, business rules, and so on, visibility, which we have recently launched in August. And for foremost, here underneath in the resource center, you will find access to tutorials. So good news for you, all the services are part of the trial landscape. So we have also created tutorials here that you can really experience on your own what you can do with the services, with the combination here underneath the solution SAP Intelligent BPM. We have certain videos linked to roadmap and so on. So I really encourage you to take a look here. Also, of course, we are linking here to our blogs in the SAP community. We're also very active here, not only we at SAP, but also a lot of people in the community itself are creating blogs, sharing their experience, probably once they're gone through their tutorials, or also have done some implementations on their own in their own environment. So please be invited to visit sap.com/ibpm. Having said this, of course, this is not the only channel which you could use. Feel free to get in touch with me. I'm very happy to provide you more information besides this webinar today, which I'm very glad that we could do this here in the SAP community for you. Thanks for coming in. If you have further questions, we can discuss this now. Here we have still some time left, or otherwise just send me a message, Stephan Schluchter @sap.com. Thanks so much for having me here and
thank you,
giving back to
Stephan.
Svea.
Yes, thank you, Stephan. This is a really nice presentation, and I think it really helps the people to reduce the times in all these processes. And as you said, that there are a lot of content as well in the SAP community. Before the audience is going to ask any question, I also want to emphasize that this month we have the SAP Cloud Platform as the topic of the month, and I will add this link to the community here. And therefore it makes also sense that you just search for Stephan, because he is also part of our topic of the month. And you can also follow him via the SAP community profile. And and if he's following you back, then you have also the possibility to exchange direct messages. So it's not all about the SAP email address. It's also about the SAP community profile. Well, we have now time for your questions. You can either write them in the chat, as mentioned earlier, or you can, of course, use the Q&A section here in the bottom of the black menu in the Zoom application. And if there are no more questions, I also would like to inform you that we, of course, have more SAP community calls on other topics as well. So I will paste here in the chat again the link to upcoming calls. And earlier I have already mentioned where you can find the recording. I will put this in here as well. And at the moment, I'm not sure if you see the previous chats. So at the moment, there is no question. In the question and answer area, also no question. Well, then I would say a big thank you also to you, Stephan, that you are part of our initiative here. And the audience, I think, is really grateful about all this information. And yeah, let's see what if there is anything else people can ask you directly. So yeah, it's a great chance to just spread the word a bit. And it was really an interesting presentation. So everyone, thanks a lot. Stephan, thanks a lot. And yeah, have a nice rest of the day.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Bye.
Bye-bye.